All right, let's see if it'll stay like that and get it going. Anyway, I have a lot of craft fair prep to do. And hi, if you're new here, my name is Cloudy, and I do little live streams like this, especially with my crafting stuff. So I have a gazillion and one things to put together and stuff. And we need to get ready because I have a craft fair not this Saturday, but the next Saturday, which is today is Thursday when I'm filming this, so a week and 2 days. So I need to get some stuff made, get it ready. I have a whole bunch of little keychains that I need to make too. I turn these into these little guys. So if you're interested in that, join me. This is a live stream, so if anybody joins, you're welcome to chat. Yada, yada, yada. We'll see how it goes. Hi! Glad to see some people here. I'm doing some craft fair prep. So I'm making a bunch of these, and I make bigger chickens too, which will look kind of like bigger versions of this. So trying to get all that prepped and done. So if you like that kind of thing, join in the chat. That'd be great. I would be glad to talk to you, answer questions and stuff about anything to do with crocheting and craft fairs and all that good stuff. Let's see. And currently I'm making a pink chicken keychain. So that's the color. All right, 1, 2. Okay. Oh, what's he got? All right, Jamie says, I love the chickens. Thank you. So do I. It's kind of what I'm known for. So I'm really, really excited about these craft fair things coming up. I love going to these things. So, sorry I haven't really been uploading lately. I'm trying to calm down the schedule a little bit and probably only upload 1 or 2 shorts a week and then maybe 1 live stream a week. Just because I want to be careful on not... You do too much and then you run out of ideas really quickly. So the quality of my videos I've noticed have kind of gone down a little bit, and I don't want that to happen. So that's why I've kind of slowed down a little bit. And yeah, I want to be careful to not let it take over my whole life, because I do have another life. I have a husband, a kids, a home, and animals to take care of. So I have to be careful balancing that all. And plus, I just want it to be good content. 2, 3, but that's why I've kind of disappeared for just a little bit. But hopefully I will have some more videos out, some better ones, and also probably some more crochet tutorials. I'm trying to brainstorm that. So if y'all have any cool questions about crochet stuff, let me know and I'll be glad to make a video on it or anything. And let's see, I have some coming out about the chickens because we do have some chicks now, so that's great. And I did post a video last week of them. They hatched and they're doing great and healthy. Great hatch rate, so that was awesome. We had little baby chicks running around in a little brooder outside. And yeah, just getting ready for craft fairs and stuff. So it's going to be fun couple months. So I'm excited. So what y'all doing? Y'all got any exciting plans to do this next month or so? I'm just trying to craft prep and get ready for all these craft fairs because I have been seriously needing to update my inventory. I took a long couple months break after Christmas because that is probably my busiest time of year is around Thanksgiving to Christmas. And so I had to take a little bit of a break, let my hand rest a little bit. It was cramping up. But now it's all starting back up, and so I need to get ready. Let's see. Jamie says I'm doing calligraphy. That's really cool. I wish I had the patience to do that. I have terrible handwriting. Let's see. And also, I was able to get my flowers and plants and stuff to survive this cold front we had over here. Thank goodness. I was really scared that they were all going to be dead because we had a last minute frost, and that usually is over where I live probably mid March, but we had a last minute one, which I should have known better to plant something before Easter because you're usually supposed to wait till then, but I thought it was over and I was wrong. But thank goodness they survived. They seem to be still growing. So I am relieved about that. And if you can hear in the background, that's my rooster. I think he's wandering into the front yard. Let's see. Y'all doing anything interesting today? Keep this going. Sit up a little bit more. And I finally finished setting up my shelf a little bit too. I think it has the right amount of stuff on it. I don't want to clutter it up too much, but I think that looks good. What do y'all think? It has a couple of chicken things on it. It has all my books that I've read or still reading. And then I put some plants and then I put a couple of crochet flowers there and my little name sign. All right, let's see. HVR says hi. Hi. I'm currently doing craft fair prep and trying to get a whole bunch of things crocheted and put together. So I figured y'all would let y'all join me in that. Feel free to ask questions or just chat, whatever. And I'm currently working on stuff. Is there any like crochet questions y'all have, or any kind of craft fair questions y'all have? Since I'm kind of in that season right now, is there anything y'all would be interested in knowing about? It could be how I price things, how I pick locations, what I pack besides inventory to go to these things. It can be how I prep the day before or anything like that. If y'all have any kind of questions about that or how to do a certain crochet stitch. And most of what I do for craft fairs is crochet, but I do a couple of other things, but I'm careful on how I do it. I'd sew some those trying to think what you call it, lid grippers. I sew those and sell those things. And also I want to get into shirt presses and making those. So that I think that would be a good summertime type of deal. Jamie, you have a tent and booth. Yeah, I do. And if y'all would like something on how I set up for that, that I can do. But yeah, And one thing I will say about the tent, which I probably will include it in another video, is if you ever go somewhere or want to do craft fairs and stuff, as much as you're tempted to get the colorful tent and stuff, you have to be careful because some venues do not allow different colored tents. Some will say you have to have a white tent. So, if you're going to invest in a tent for something like that, get the plain white one. And then you can make or buy little decorations and stuff to fix it up how you want, but you still technically have the white tent, which is what a lot of venues will say you have to have. I don't know why. I guess they want it to look uniform throughout the whole venue of where you go. But yeah, as much as, I was tempted to get, the bright blue one or something. Don't do it because some venues will say you cannot come to our place unless you have a white tent. Did not know that. Jamie said, yeah, I didn't either until before I started really investing in the items. I kind of looked up on YouTube different videos and stuff on how to set up, what are some good ideas and things like that. You have to have licenses and everything. And pretty much all of them said invest in the white tent because if you get the color tent, some venues will not let you set up there. Again, I don't know why, but it's probably a making it look uniform thing. So said hi. I hope I'm saying your name right. If I did, I'm sorry. I said hi. Hi back. I'm currently doing craft fair prep and answering some questions on that and crochet stuff. And so yeah, invest in the white tent. Get a good table because even though I make, kind of lightweight stuff, I invested in a little shoe rack to go make as a shelf on top of the table so I can stack things up. And you want to have a good sturdy table for that because it's going to be more weighted. And you might change your mind on how you set up and you want it to be good. And always think about if you're going to these things by yourself, what would be the easiest thing for you to handle? Like I have a table that folds up and it comes with a little handheld handle so you can hold it easier. And yeah, keep that in mind because you may not always have somebody there with you to help you. Even though most of the people at these events are super nice and very willing to help you, they all help each other. Sometimes you're going to be in a situation where you're going to have to do it by yourself. So think about that when you buy your setup items and all that. Think about, can I carry and tote all this on my own? And consider that. That is a big thing I think I would consider is can you do this if you were by yourself and alone and take it. Another thing I did invest in is a wagon, and which you don't have to have that. It helps, but I didn't have one for probably the first couple of fairs I set up for. I didn't use it, but it helps later down the road if you have more stuff. And let me think of another one. Pick tablecloths that kind of go with your theme. I have a lot of blue stuff. I have the white tent. I heavily decorate it. I tried to invest in the sign and everything to make it look more colorful and more me. So that's another way you can get around the plain white tent thing is that you can just decorate all around it. I hang stuff up from it. I put little clips and stuff all around it because I do make little flower clips. And I put that all around the tent sometimes, especially if it's springtime. You can, clip things on the little tablecloths, and that'll decorate it. So yeah, just invest in a plain sturdy table and a good solid white sturdy tent. That is the baseline thing I would look into. You want to make sure it's sturdy, good reviews, and plain enough to where you can decorate it for any time of the year. But yeah, white tent that is sturdy, good reviews, good sturdy table that you can tote around by yourself if you had to. So, is there any other questions on that or the crochet stuff? Glad to answer it. But yeah, that's some good questions. I didn't think about answering about all that. So thank you. Oh, and I'm super excited. I came up with this cool technique. I make those little chicken plushies, and I didn't sew on the comb or anything, but I figured out how to mix yarn to make it look kind of like I have these black chickens that are real colorful in the sunlight. They kind of have this iridescent look to their feathers when they're in the sun. So I thought that kind of looked like that. What do y'all think? I was so excited. It's so cute, I think. But yeah, I took the fluffy yarn and then I took a thinner, just plain acrylic yarn and kind of twisted it together. And it made this really pretty look to it. I don't know. What do y'all think? I'm excited. I want to make that into a little chicken plushie. So just imagine like a little comb and a little face right here. I think that's cool. So that's one thing I wanted to show. And I'm trying to think of some other things I do with my tent. Personally, I don't do the individual price tags on each item, but I do the signs for each item. Like I make a big sign, just one big sign for each item. That way people can plainly see it. There's no, people are really shy about asking for prices because I guess they're scared of it being too expensive when they ask and it's out of their budget and they don't want to feel awkward. So that's another craft fair thing, is to make sure you keep your prices out there, make it plain, simple, and easy to read for everybody. And also keep business cards or a QR code. Keep them all over your tent. And yeah, even though I mostly do the QR code thing, I always keep a few business cards with just some of your information on it because, sometimes there's people who do not have a smartphone. Even in this day and age, yeah, there's still people who do not use it very much and they just don't do the QR code thing. So give them a little piece of paper. Some people are just old-fashioned like that, so consider that. And yeah, everybody else pretty much uses the QR code. Do you let people touch things, says Jamie? Yeah, as long as, they're not being rough, as long as they're not like throwing it on the ground or something, yeah, people are allowed to touch things. I'm not funny about that because it's out in the open air, and occasionally I do go around and kind of do a disinfectant spray and spray it around on things kind of in between each craft fair. So yeah, absolutely. I'm not going to be stingy on that because most of the things I sell is crochet stuff. So you want to move it around, touch it, feel it, see if it's soft enough for you to wear, like the gloves and, the chickens. You can feel it because, you never know what people's taste. Some people are funny when it comes to how things feel, especially anything that's wearable. So yeah, I'm not going to be. I allow people, I say, feel free to touch it, move it around, look at it. I'm not super stingy on how everything's set up so perfectly. It doesn't have to be that way as long as, like I said, you don't like throw it on the ground or something and get it super dirty. It's fine. Because most of the things I make, I very much put a lot of thought into how it feels and if it's comfortable and if it's the right, yarn for the individual thing and what it's made out of. I'm not opposed to using acrylic yarn, but when I do use it, I try to be very careful on what does it feel like. It's not itchy and stuff like that. So absolutely, I allow people to touch things and look at them and examine and see if it's for them. So yeah, that's a really good question. Thank you. And especially, I have a lot of kids approach my booth because I have the little chicken stuffies and stuff. So yeah, kids are going to touch things. It's fine. If it's super out of order by a certain point, I just get up and just move it back. It's not a big deal to me. Because I'm the same way. I want to check the quality of something before I buy it. Yeah, that's a really good question. Thank you for asking that one. Let's see. I'm trying to think of another common question that I've had before. I'm trying to think. What's another craft fair question y'all would probably have? It can be on setup stuff. And like I said, probably in the last 6 months or so, I've really tried to invest on how things are set up and how they look and how I arrange it all based on what kind of item it is and who I think would buy it. Because I try to have a variety of things for different ages, probably from, smaller things for kids. And then I have household things for, people my age, like 30s. So I try to also keep that in mind. And let me think. And also, if you're making stuff, I kind of recommend to have a little bit of a common theme throughout it. Like, color-wise, I think it's a good idea to have your setup kind of in the same color scheme. Like, mine's blue. Like, I have the neon sign. I have a banner that has the same colors on it. It's light blue and kind of teal colors. My tablecloths are kind of light teal turquoise color. So that's another thought, is kind of keep it in a color scheme. Think about that and have that set up. And items, I don't necessarily have a specific color scheme with my, inventory, but I usually base that off of the time of the year. Like, I'll do colors like these, and let's see if I find another one. These for, spring and summer. I'll do colors more like these type of colors for fall, and then I have some neutral colors that can be any time of the year. And Christmas time, obviously, like bright red or something, and greens and that kind of thing. So the item things, I usually base that off of the time of the year. When it comes to colors and textures and stuff, I try to base it off of that. That way I'm not sticking to a specific color theme with all year round. You can kind of switch it up just a little bit. I'm trying to think. And also another thing I kind of want to ask. I know I don't have a lot of people online right now, but with the big chicken plushies, I'm kind of thinking of eventually building up an inventory of these things and making little things to go with them. You know, kind of like build a pair. But maybe at Christmas time, have a little Santa hat or something that goes on top of them. I don't know. I'm kind of brainstorming a lot of these ideas, and I almost never have the time to actually go through with them, but they're all like in my brain. So that's another thought I have is make little accessories to go with these little chicken plushies because a lot of people will buy them and then that's it. You know, they're not going to buy like one every year or something. So I kind of want to make something to go with them or change them up if somebody already owns one. That's kind of something I've been brainstorming a little bit. So if y'all have any ideas on accessories to go with these little chicken plushies, that would be really great. You know, we can kind of brainstorm that. Jamie says, I like that idea. I do too. So, and I think it would be easy because it wouldn't have to be big. You know, you can make a Santa hat for these chicken plushies, like maybe that big around, like silver dollar size. So that wouldn't take too much time. So I think that's kind of a good idea for Christmas and stuff. What do y'all think? And I'm currently trying to think on some ideas for keychains and stuff because I know a lot of people like to use these as like little bag charms. Make eggs for the chickens. Now that's a good idea. That's kind of cute. Also, I think I don't know. I'm kind of brainstorming some ideas on that. Yeah. So yeah, that would be a really cool idea. And but yeah, also I'm trying to brainstorm some things for the keychains because I know a lot of people probably don't use them as, you know, traditional keychains to go on your with your keys. They kind of use them as bag charms. So I'm trying to think of different things that still kind of go with my overall theme with my stuff that also can show a person's personality. Does that make sense? Like people will have this hanging from their bag if they have chickens or like chickens, yada yada. So something that's kind of along with this theme, but if somebody has another hobby or another thing they would want to hang from their bag that would kind of show a bit of their personality. I've been trying to brainstorm some on that. Let me see. But yeah, I like the eggs idea. I have kind of been brainstorming some ideas for that because I'm trying to think of things that would kind of make it unique to me. Um, yeah, I like that idea. I'll definitely consider that one. And also, do y'all have any questions? Because now I feel like I'm kind of brainstorming ideas and stuff, but I kind of want to answer some questions. If y'all have any questions about crocheting, about craft fairs, or anything like that, how I set up, things I consider and stuff, or would y'all like a longer video on that? Or some shorts on it? Oh, and by the way, is my audio quality good? Because I've been having a bit of trouble with my microphone lately. It's sounding really scratchy. So, how's that sounding right now? I've noticed that in the last couple of live streams that it's kind of sounded really scratchy and staticky. All right, I get a thumbs up from Jamie. Okay, that's good. Because it's so disappointing whenever you do these videos and these live streams and then you go back and rewatch it and it's all like the staticky, scratchy sound that I know nobody's going to want to listen to, because anytime I run across a video like that, I can't stand the sound. So I'm trying to make sure I keep all that good and not be disappointed when I go to upload it and it sounds terrible. So yeah, thank you for the thumbs up. Let me know if it ever kind of sounds bad and we'll figure it out. Let's see. Let's see. I like the black chicken you showed. Yeah, thank you. Again, if nobody saw it, this is what it looks like. But yeah, I'm really excited about that. I think it would be really cool if you could, find a different color, because I know they make a lot of ombre yarn like this that I can mix together with the chunky yarn and kind of do an effect like that. So I'm trying to also think on some brainstorm ideas for that effect. So what all kinds of things I can make to make it look like that. But yeah, I'm really excited about that. I'm glad it kind of popped in my head because I have a bunch of just like acrylic yarn, like yarn like this, that I have no idea how to use it. So I think this was a pretty. I'm glad I come up with this thought. So yeah, that was really cool. I don't know why my hair is puffing out right there for some reason. Let's see. I'm trying to think of some other things y'all would be interested in, but I'm planning on putting out some videos next week. I have some videos of my chicks hatching, so I'm excited about that. I want to put that together. And oops, hang on. Fix that. And hopefully I can get together something for the craft fair that I have in a couple weeks and put that together and think of some subjects or questions that y'all would have about that. So if y'all have anything on that, I'll be glad to include it in that video. And yeah, I try to read through all the comments. I try to, anytime somebody has a question, I will walk through it with you and try to answer it. So that's been really good. And also try to think of some more crochet tutorials because I've noticed that a lot of people have been really interested in that, and it kind of surprised me because I feel like there's so many tutorials and stuff out there, so it's kind of been really fun to see different people looking at mine and using that, you know. So I'm currently trying to brainstorm on that a little bit and make sure it's something people would actually be interested in. That's been really fun. I'm it's really cool to see people be interested in the same stuff you are a little bit and ask questions about something that you are into or like or know about. So yeah, it's been really fun. I did not expect to have this many people, even though it's a small amount of people watching my stuff and actually be interested in it and comment on it. So that's just been really cool to see. And I thank you for it. And yeah, I'm trying to just think of some ideas of what y'all would like to see in the subjects that I cover and make it, you know, worth watching. I don't want to be poor quality too much, even though I don't know a whole lot about putting together videos, but I try and try to think of good subjects that'll actually make people interested in it a little bit. And yeah, that's been really fun. Let's see, how much time are we working on? Okay, 36 minutes. So usually I try to end it right around 40-ish. So if y'all have any crochet questions, any craft fair questions, that'll be great. I'll be glad to answer them. And if I can't answer them now, I will include it in another video. But I will go ahead and try to answer it. If y'all have any questions, I will talk about it and elaborate on it and try to figure it out with you. Yeah, I've really enjoyed doing this kind of thing because I've always been a really creative person. Even as a kid, I always liked just making things, like grabbing random craft supplies and just putting together like little puppets and things like that. So I was always the type of person to make things. And even before I got into any kind of knitting or crochet, just anytime I saw someone making something, it piqued my interest. I like putting things together. I've always liked figuring out how to make things, put them together, and how it works and stuff. So, yeah, I've really enjoyed doing this kind of thing. I've enjoyed meeting people who are interested in making things and like to ask questions about how you make it. Because I try not to gatekeep. I think it's something that should be shared. Because what's the fun in kind of hoarding something to yourself without sharing it and how to do it and how to make it? Because I don't know, you find a community and group of friends like that, I think. And think of what else. And also, and also about the booth setup stuff. If sometimes you will have night shows or night events where you're setting up your booth in the evening time after dark, think about lighting because sometimes you will not have electricity. So I do have some battery operated lights. They're not super bright, but it's enough to where you can kind of see in the tent. And so yeah, that's another thought. If you do nighttime festivals, that's another thing you need to think about. All right, James says agreed. always love doing crafts. Yeah, same. And yeah, I think it's fun to do it with people and learn different skills from other people about what they make or what they do. Because I've always switched from different things. I know they said you don't want to be a jack of all trades, but I kind of disagree. I've always kind of been the type to think, I think it's handy to have a few set of skills, not just one. Yeah, sometimes that can work, but for me personally, I like to know how to make and do different skills, different things. I like to do baking. I like to do, the crochet stuff. I like to sew a little bit, not too much. And I've even have my cosmetology license, so I do hair sometimes. And yeah, maybe you're not known for one particular thing, so it's hard to advertise, but also I think you can switch. Like certain times of year, I can't do craft fairs because of the weather. And, where I live, it gets extremely hot in the summertime. So during the summer, I kind of have to quit doing the craft fairs for a while. So I'll switch to something else for that season and advertise heavier on that. If someone needs their hair done for holidays and stuff, I'll be glad to do it. And I can do that on weekends where I can't do craft fairs. And, I think it's good to be a little bit of a jack of all trades. I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. Now, if you're the type who only does it for a little bit to where you don't sharpen that skill, yeah, I can see where that can be a bad thing. But I think if you stick to it for a while and try to learn it and study it, I don't think it's a bad way of doing things. As long as you, like I said, study it and learn it and sharpen that skill a little bit. And if you want to learn something else, go for it. I disagree with that saying of jack of all trades. This is a bad thing all the time anyway. Let's see. Okay, we're working on 42 minutes. So if nobody asks any questions, probably by the 45-minute mark, I'm going to close this out. But to the people who did join, thank you. And I will be uploading this later. So if y'all have any questions that y'all think of later when you rewatch this, I'll be glad to answer it and work on another video for that for you. But again, thank you for joining. I'm going to leave the chat open for just a little bit longer, for a couple minutes, and then I'll end it. But in the meantime, thank y'all for joining me. I'm almost done making this, so it's been good. And I will probably try to catch some footage of the craft fair thing. And also, I try to be careful whenever I'm filming in public, to consider other people's privacy. So that's probably why I don't have too many videos on that, but I'm going to try this time to at least catch some snippets here and there that maybe I can think, okay, I learned this, so I want to film it, and I'll elaborate on it later whenever I'm back home and settled and everything, and I can talk more on it. And also, I will say before it ends that if you do any kind of events or go around to different locations to sell your stuff, always advertise. Advertise a couple weeks in advance. You don't want to advertise too far ahead in case something comes up, but I would say like 2 weeks to maybe 1 week. Advertise where you're going to be for a certain date, a week or two ahead of time, and that way people can know where to find you if they are looking for a certain item, or they saw something at the last fair they saw you at and they just didn't get a chance to get it, they can go find you based on what your Facebook says. So that's another thought. And I will end on that because we have reached the 45-minute mark. So thank you for joining me. Hi, if you're new here, my name is Cloudy. If you're watching this later, please leave a comment down below, even just a heart or a thumbs up or a question. Anything means a whole lot to me and helps me out a whole lot. And I will be glad to answer any questions you have about crochet and craft fairs and maybe even make a video on it. So if you enjoyed this, give it a like, give it a comment. Thank you so much for joining me. Bye.